Okay, let's unpack this one. Picture a totally normal morning, right? Sun's coming up. Maybe you're thinking about coffee.
Yeah, just ordinary.
Then imagine that just shatters. May 11th, 2021, Savannah. That's what happened. A young woman, 23, Gabrielle Rogers, shot. Multiple times. In her home.
And her babies. Gone.
Where infant twins vanished. What makes this deep dive so intense is we're using mostly never-before-seen body cam footage. It's from EWU Body Cam on YouTube. Incredible stuff.
Really raw footage.
Our mission here is to sort of cut through that initial shock, look at those first moments on camera, and really understand the first layers of this just shocking crime.
And it's fascinating, isn't it, how quickly something that seems like one thing, a horrific crime, starts showing these weird, complex layers right from the get-go.
Absolutely. The police arrive, and it's just chaos, horror, confusion. But you see little clues starting to pop up even then. Yeah, the footage puts you right there. Gabrielle, just 23, shot multiple times. But even then, her first thought is her babies. They've been taken.
It's incredible survival instinct.
And somehow, with those injuries, she gets to a neighbor, collapses on the porch. You hear it in the audio. The officer's like, "Where's your shot? We got one in the leg." So urgent.
It's chilling. Truly chilling. And yet, she's coherent enough, even in that trauma.
To give them that first crucial piece of info.
The name.
A name. Daniel took my kid. Kathleen. What? Kathleen Daniel took my kid. Right there. Identifies her attacker.
You think, okay, that's it. Case solved, almost.
You would, wouldn't you? But here's the twist. That name, Kathleen Daniel, it sends everyone down this rabbit hole. Just this unforeseen path of deception. Twisted schemes nobody could have guessed right then.
Exactly. The lead that seems the most solid, it turns out to be the first piece of the lie we have to unravel. Makes you really think about how misleading things can be, especially when emotions are so high.
So let's get into the backstory. Gabrielle and this Kathleen Daniel, how did they know each other?
Well, they were friends. Sort of. They connected online, Facebook chats, bonded over something really personal, both supposedly pregnant with twins.
Wow. Okay.
They actually met face-to-face for the first time at the hospital, the day Gabrielle had her twins.
Oh, wow.
But here's the kicker, right? Gabrielle had zero idea that Kathleen wasn't who she said she was. Not even close.
So this online support system
became the entry point for this unbelievable betrayal. It really highlights the vulnerability sometimes in online relationships, doesn't it?
Yeah.
What seems supportive can be, well, built on lies.
And the attack itself, that Gabrielle recounted it later. Kathleen's visiting, then suddenly gets agitated, says her phone is missing.
Right, a distraction maybe.
Seems like it. Gabrielle turns to help look, and Kathleen just attacks her, strangles her with a phone charger.
God, that's brutal.
And says, "Those are my kids, and I'm taking the kids."
Yeah.
Chillin'. There's a struggle. Kathleen shoots Gabrielle, grabs the twins from the nursery, and just flees.
It happens so fast. Just a complete violent shift. And those words, those are my kids. They mean so much more later on.
The body cam footage then shows the immediate aftermath. Just panic. Gabrielle's sister, Jasmine, arrives. She's distraught. You hear her crying, "Can you hear me? Breh, breh."
Pure chaos.
Yeah.
Everyone's trying to figure out what happened.
Jasmine and a neighbor are trying to give info. The twins are boys. They first think maybe 6 months old, but no, it's actually 6 weeks. Tiny babies.
And there's confusion about names too, right? The neighbor mentions someone else.
Yeah, the neighbor mentions a friend, maybe Gabriel or something, supposed to bring formula. Adds another layer of just confusion.
It shows how hard it is for investigators in those first minutes. Trauma makes memories fuzzy.
And Jasmine confirms how they met that mommy's group on Facebook.
Okay, so it wasn't random.
No, Kathleen had been to the house before, brought baby supplies, so there was this established, well, trust. Tragically misplaced trust.
That makes it even worse somehow. Someone who seemed like a friend.
Then, a possible break. Jasmine remembers the front door camera.
Ah, footage, finally.
They look through it, desperate to see Kathleen leaving with the babies.
Yeah.
And they find Kathleen's car in the backyard.
Okay, so she was definitely there.
Definitely. But no visual of the kidnapping itself. It's like she knew where the camera was, avoided it, almost uncannily.
That's suspicious. Really suspicious. Avoiding the camera like that suggests planning, doesn't it? Awareness.
Right. Meanwhile, Gabrielle's rushed to the hospital. Inside the house, evidence confirms she was shot 3 times.
3 times. Wow.
Even from the ambulance, she tells officers Kathleen stole her phone.
And they found it nearby.
Yeah, ditched close by. Pretty clear she was trying to stop Gabrielle from calling 911 right away.
Calculated. Definitely calculated. Silence the mother, delay the alarm.
So they run the name Kathleen Daniels and get nothing. Zip.
Yeah.
Just weird, wrong addresses like a cooler address in Tybron.
So the name is bogus. That's the first real confirmation.
Exactly. First big sign the name is fake. And canvassing the neighborhood, almost nothing. One neighbor heard a loud bang maybe 5-10 minutes before police got there. That's it.
Frustrating. Very few leads beyond Gabrielle's word, which now seems unreliable, at least about the name.
So the first, simplest theory is just abduction. She want the babies. Seems obvious, right?
It's the most straightforward explanation in that moment.
But then Gabrielle's uncle Stefan, he throws out something darker. He wonders if maybe Kathleen is pretending to have kids she doesn't have. Maybe for, like, selling them.
Whoa. That's a much more sinister thought early on.
Yeah. And he also points out how weird it is she wasn't caught on camera, even though she'd visited before. He's sharp.
That's really insightful, actually, picking up on that inconsistency. Sometimes an outside view helps.
Jasmine adds more details, too. Kathleen was supposed to bring formula that morning. A lot of formula. Similac, the brand the twins used.
And she had an excuse for having so much.
Yeah, claimed her own twins didn't need it. They were smaller, or one was just out of the hospital after a car accident. All these little lies.
Building a cover story.
She even claimed she worked at Memorial Hospital, the same hospital Gabrielle was just taken to.
Okay, that's hold. Inconvenient for her story, maybe. These details show premeditation, trying to explain away having baby stuff.
So police check the hospital, Memorial. Show Kathleen's picture. They got one from Jasmine, from a Ring doorbell from a previous visit.
And does anyone recognize her as Kathleen Daniels?
Nope, nobody knows a Kathleen Daniels. One person vaguely remembers someone looking similar, maybe a tech with red braids, there the day before. But it's weak, nothing concrete.
And no visitor logs readily available. Another dead end.
Exactly. Legal hassle to get lists. It confirms Kathleen Daniels is likely fake.
So what now? They're stuck.
This is the turning point. No leads on Kathleen Daniels. So police make the call, release the Ring doorbell image, issue an Amber Alert.
Going public, leveraging the community.
Yep, Amber Alert goes out. 2 6-week-old black male infants, last seen leaving Savannah with a black female. This changes everything.
It's a big step, but necessary when leads dry up. You hope someone recognizes the picture.
And it works, like miraculously fast. Tips start pouring in from local people.
Really? That quickly?
Almost immediately. The police report says a specific tip came in, pointing them to a house in Rincon just outside Savannah. Said the babies were there.
Wow. The power of the Amber Alert and community eyes. That's amazing.
It really is. Shows how effective those alerts can be.
So they have a location.
They have a location. And then comes the big reveal. The whole lie just crumbles. Kathleen Daniels
Doesn't exist.
doesn't exist. Total fabrication. An alias. The woman Gabrielle knew as Kathleen, her real name is Angela Montgomery.
Angela Montgomery. Okay. That changes the entire picture, doesn't it? Everything slots into place differently now.
Completely. It confirms the deception they suspected. They have to reevaluate everything now with this new, real identity.
So the Amber Alert leads them right to her.
Swiftly, SWAT team goes to Angela's house in Rincon.
And inside.
They find Angela's family, her 2-year-old son, her fiancé Dale, her mother, 3 sisters,
The
and
babies. Police say the babies were okay.
the missing twin boys, safe, unharmed.
Oh, thank goodness. That's the most important thing. What a relief.
Huge relief. The update comes, we have both babies. Just pure relief.
And Angela.
Where was she?
Found hiding. Naked.
Look at that.
In a closet.
Naked. Wow. Just desperate. Shows she knew it was over.
Stark contrast,
Yeah.
right? The safe babies and her hiding like that.
Definitely speaks volumes about her state of mind. So what about the family? Were they in on it?
Total shock. Her mother, Shanika, she actually thought the babies were Angela's. Angela told her, I had them today.
She claimed she just gave birth to twins.
Yep. But after the Amber Alert hit, Angela apparently gathered everyone's phones, confessed, said something like, I did something bad. I know you and Dale are going to hate me for this.
Wow. So the family didn't know until the Amber Alert forced her hand.
Seems that way. Shanika immediately told her to return the babies and the fiancé, Dale. He was completely blindsided. He thought she was pregnant. He was packing baby stuff. She was supposedly scheduled for an induction that day.
That level of deception for months. fooling her own fiancé? It's staggering. Truly staggering. And the house search tells you even more. They find 3 firearms.
Guns. Okay, that's worrying.
Lots of baby formula. And a fully set up nursery for 2 newborns.
So this wasn't impulsive.
Yeah.
At all. This was planned meticulously.
Chillingly clear. And investigators find what they call a horrifying and twisted motive hinted at by a note they found.
A note? What did it say? Well, we'll get to that, maybe. But the planning is undeniable. The guns plus the nursery.
And Shanika, the mother, she remembers something else unsettling. Seeing Angela at the hospital earlier.
After the kidnapping.
Yeah. She saw both babies unclothed in Angela's car, one on the dashboard, one on the passenger seat.
And she didn't question it.
Didn't question it at the time. Trusted her daughter, I guess. Didn't imagine the reality. Shows how deep the deception ran, how unexpected it was.
Absolutely. You just wouldn't think your own daughter.
When police interrogate Angela, she tries to spin this wild story.
Oh, yeah. What's her version?
Claims someone else was there. My sister, she says, a twin sister from New York or Jersey, says this twin framed her.
A twin sister.
Seriously?
Yeah. Claims she herself was adopted and had a fraternal twin.
Let me guess. That didn't check out.
Not even close. Her mom confirms, yes, Angela was adopted at 2 weeks old. But no twin sister never existed.
Wow.
And the family had no idea. Angela hadn't actually been pregnant for months. This twin sister destiny. Total fantasy. Made up on the spot.
A desperate, pretty flimsy attempt to shift blame. Shows how detached from reality she might have been.
So finally, the real motive. The heartbreaking reason behind all this.
What was it?
Angela had lost her own twins. A miscarriage. Before she even met Gabrielle.
Oh, that's tragic. Absolutely tragic.
It is. But then, she befriended Gabrielle, pretending she was also pregnant with twins. Used that connection.
To get close. Learn about the house.
Exactly. Learned the routine, the nursery layout, all under this false pretense of shared experience. The plan was always to kidnap Gabrielle's babies, raise them as her own, fool her family into thinking they were her long-awaited twins. That's horrifyingly calculated, exploiting Gabrielle's own joy and vulnerability like that. And it matches what the uncle suspected early on.
Chillingly, yes. Uncle Stefan's theory was disturbingly accurate.
And they found proof of the miscarriage. And that note.
Yes, evidence confirmed the miscarriage. And that unnerving note on her calendar solidified the motive. A woman consumed by grief, making these extreme criminal choices.
A really disturbing picture of grief turning into delusion and dangerous action.
So, the legal outcome. November 7th, 2023, Angela Kathleen Montgomery found guilty. Attempted murder, 2 counts of kidnapping, aggravated assault. Mental health was considered by the court.
And the sentence.
30 years in prison, plus a lifetime of probation afterward.
A significant sentence. And Gabrielle and the babies.
Gabrielle survived, bravely. She was reunited with her children. She's on the road to recovery. A long road, no doubt, but hopeful.
That's the crucial part. That they survived and are together. It offers some closure, some sense of justice, though the trauma remains.
Absolutely. So as we wrap this up, just think about it. The sheer depth of deception one person is capable of.
It's almost unbelievable.
And the vulnerability, especially around something like new motherhood. How trust can be just weaponized.
Chilling.
But also think about the community response, that Amber Alert, the tips flooding in, playing such a key role in bringing those babies home safe.
Right. A reminder of collective power in terrible situations.
It really makes you wonder, doesn't it, about the complex psychology behind something like this. And, you know, the hidden sides of online connections, we form them so fast these days. What unseen stories, what potential dangers or connections are playing out right now just below the surface of our everyday lives? Something to think about.